Good evening. Welcome to Flames Unfiltered. I am Burud, joined alongside the other host of the show, Kyle Lewis. Kyle, it is preseason going. Things are good in Calgary right now.
I'm trying to kind of roll with that. Like on the one hand, it's only preseason. What's that?
It is only preseason, but it's all right to be happy, right? Or I don't know. Maybe it's just the hope, right?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll like the whole thing about we'll use the Seattle game as an example. So it's like, oh, Calgary iced a really inexperienced roster. They did so well. Like, optimistic, sure. Seattle is experienced team, but maybe it's only preseason. They know it doesn't matter. Like, you can look at it any number of ways. It doesn't really tell you anything, and that's why the emphasis is really on like individual performances, right? And we've seen a whack of good ones so far, a whack of them.
Yeah, we have a lot of them to talk about on the show. It is, honestly, it's just good to see Flames hockey back. It's good to open up my phone, look at my calendar, and go, hey, game tomorrow night to look forward to. I like
That's goddamn exciting. It's goddamn exciting.
It is. You know what else is exciting? Last week's episode, one of our better listened to episodes, and you know what? Fun to start a new year and fun to get interaction with the listeners. And I just want to thank everybody for taking the time last week to spend the 45 minutes listening to our show. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we can continue to build on the success of last week's show.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's great. I mean, the fan interaction's been fantastic. And I think the fan base is feeling kind of a surge of optimism around the direction of the team. I mean, it could be obviously a longer term direction, but it's great. We greatly appreciate the support, and we love that you guys will listen to us rant.
And I get it, it's preseason, right? But these last couple of games have been exciting to watch and a lot of fun. And
so fun.
You know what? You nailed it a second ago. The individual performances that we've seen, it gives us hope that maybe our prospects are going to continue to pan out. Do I think that we're going to have a bust year this year? No, I don't. But hey, the Minnesota Vikings are 3-0. And they were to be one of the worst teams in pro football. Hey,
3-0 in football is a big fucking deal. Let's make no bones about that.
It's like starting off 10-2 in the NHL.
Yeah, that's an excellent analogy. Excellent analogy. Yep.
Maybe 8-2, probably. 8-2.
Wow, it's a damn good start. That's the point.
It is. And I mean, I understand, there's so many naysayers out there. You know what? That might even right there, that might throw us into our X factor right out of the chute tonight.
Let's get right at it.
Let's just do it right away. Let's get it going. I don't even know how to say this guy's name.
Gurpal Singh.
Sea of Red Hub. Let's okay. And I put this on there because it's a real negative post, but it fits with kind of what we're talking about today. He says, I don't understand how some Flames fans suddenly think this team has enough talent to sneak into the playoffs. No number one center, inexperienced goaltending, will likely be sellers again. Deep pairs are not playoff caliber. Okay. I agree. We do not have a number one center. And quite honestly, that's probably my biggest fear in the whole entire organization. That is, I don't know that we have a prospect that's a number one center. Inexperience. Do you disagree or agree?
I'm just taking this all in because I have a lot to say about this, but please continue.
That's why I picked this one. And you know what? Hey, we aren't always going to agree with the X factor, right? That's kind of like the fun of the X factor. And we just hope this guy listens to the show.
I love that his avatar on X looks as unhappy as this tweet is.
I did notice that too, but Sea of Red Hub.
I'm taking what he says seriously because he looks serious. I'm not just making jokes here. Honestly, I can get behind this. I understand where he's coming from. I get it.
I agree with him with the no number one center. Inexperienced goaltending. How can you not agree? Do we think we have 100%. Some good hope?
Nobody in the league has less experience in our goaltending tandem or stable.
So fair point. We'll likely be sellers again. I kind of argue that because I really don't know who we would sell pending UFAs. Who do we have?
Kuzmenko.
Let me ask you a question. No.
Oh, he's got 2 years left. Yeah.
There's one more. Who am I forgetting?
Oh, Backlund.
Dan, no, he's got one more. His contract just started.
Who the hell is it?
I don't know. I just pulled up Cap Friendly. That
I gotta
is
say, yeah.
not do me any good today. Since it's a dead site now. I got it coming here. There's one more that I was just thinking about that I thought was going to be
It's
a
a
guy.
forward for sure.
Anthony Mantha, we said that. Kuzmenko, we said that. Kevin Rooney. I don't know if that's too relevant. That's it. Oh, Dan Vladar. That's the other one. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But that being said, will we be sellers again? Okay, so do you think getting rid of Kuzmenko and Mantha qualifies as sellers?
Well,
sure. I hope they are. You know what? I hope Mantha has a go off season, and I hope Kuzmenko does too, because those are probably two players we'd want in a rebuild. Right now, they might be getting a little bit old, but you need that.
Well, they can both fetch a hefty return. I mean, both those guys have the I want to be careful how I say this because I don't want to create any false expectations. Both those guys have the ability under the right circumstances to score 30 to 40 goals.
Yes.
You know, like that. And that's a perfect scenario. Perfect scenario. Now, there's those guys. Anderson's contract is, waning. Backlund's, as I mentioned. Blake Coleman is very attractive for any number of teams to acquire. He'd fit on any roster. So there's a few different things that could be sold per se.
So he is valid in saying that. Will we be sellers again? Probably more likely than not. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. But the thing is that none of these things, to me, are indicative of a team that's going to make the playoffs or not at all. Because we know we don't have a clear-cut number one center, but we could have 3 to potentially 4 good centers. Goaltending's inexperienced. Okay, who cares? We know
that.
Yeah, and if training camp's any indication, not that it necessarily is, but we have 3 capable goaltenders. Any one of the 3 could go off and have a big year, a la Michael Leighton in Philly, Johan Hedberg in Pittsburgh years ago. Unlikely.
Hey, every goalie was a rookie, right?
Well, goalies are really unpredictable. That's why you try not to draft them higher, as so many people say. Probably sellers again. Yeah, we sold the year we made the playoffs in 2015. We sold Curtis Glencross, right, to Washington.
Yeah.
The D pairs are not playoff caliber. We don't know that. Maybe Mironov breaks out.
I'm going to agree with him on that.
I agree too, but it doesn't mean they don't make the playoffs. Lots of teams make it with subpar defense, right?
I'll tell you what. I don't, you say subpar defense. I don't know that we're subpar defense anymore. Like I'm really, honestly, that's probably what I'm most excited about seeing as we come out of preseason into the regular season. I love what I see with our defense right now.
Oh my God,
really,
dude.
Really do.
Unbelievable. And I don't know if we can call him this. I'll have to message him and confirm. But Hunter Bristevich, Elliot Friedman had, said, I'm going to have to learn how to say this guy's name, according to a buddy of mine, because he's that good. I talked to one of his former coaches in Kitchener. This guy is having a hell of a camp. Say nothing of Perrick, of Edm Cgy, who was actually returned to Moncton today, so I'll see him play this weekend in the Wildcats home opener. Jeremy Poirier, we are loaded with defensive prospects, and
you're leaving out one guy that has probably been the most impactful player on the Flames.
Grushnikov?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He has been awesome.
He's doing everything. He's moving the puck well. He's been physical. He's standing up for teammates. He's all over the place.
Been filling in faces from what I saw. Good God.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing it all, right?
Oh.
How can you not have a star next to his name on the roster right now?
There's no way that you can't. I mean, and the other thing, that because this all kind of plays into the same conversation, all these guys having fantastic camps. That's just on D, and we'll get into the other categories now, I guess. So you look at the forwards, how does based on the camp so far, how does Coronado not make your top 6?
Well, I think he has to so far, but I had to, and I'm doing this with everybody. I keep telling myself it's preseason. You know,
It is.
Coronado
It is.
hit a hat trick against Vancouver and we won 10-0. Okay, take a step back.
Yeah.
But you know what? Isn't it better to have these signs than go through and be like, man, guy's a ghost? Because Coronado has been impactful in both games he's played in the preseason. He's got, I don't even know how many points. I think, what does he have? 3 goals, 2 assists, I believe.
Yeah, just phenomenal. And
his backhand saucer pass.
Oh, it's Poirier?
Is that not goal of the year already? Like, are we going to have a better play than that this year?
We're not going to have a better pass than that.
No,
we know that's a given. Like, and the thing is that the thing about Coronado has always been, and we saw it in his first NHL goal against Pittsburgh, his shot. Yeah, lethal. That's already NHL caliber. There's no question. But to see him make plays like that, and not just the pass, but when you watch that playback, the play along the boards, the stop and pivot, the hockey awareness around that play, that's next level. So I don't know. We still got a ways to go in camp. We only had some peripheral cuts today, some expected cuts, if you will.
Yep.
So Coronado all of a sudden changes the top 6 discussion. And Mike Gold had tweeted about it today. And I reference Mike all the time because he has a lot of good things to say on X. But it probably pushes a guy like Pospisil, who's a fantastic hockey player, further down the lineup if you want Coronado in your top 6. And I don't have a problem with that. If you get a real scoring touch in your top 6, like Pospisil to me is like Michael Furlan. He can score you 20 goals in the right spot, but he's not designed to be there.
I don't know I really don't know what happens though, because I sit and I look at this and pull up the chart and I see the line of Kadri, Kuzmenko, and Sharangovich, and I liked what I saw last night. I know it's one game, but you know what? I saw limited amount of the Edmonton game in Edmonton, and Pospisil with Huberdeau and Mantha putting up points.
Yeah,
all systems go with that line so far. And how do you argue with Backlund, Zari, and Coleman? Coronado, I don't know where he has a spot. I mean, I think he makes this team, and I think he's in there. I mean, are we going to have kind of a hybrid fourth line with this a horrible fourth line? Would you put, I don't know, Schwint with Coronado and Lomberg? I don't know. Is that out of line?
I have a hard time seeing Schwint making the team right now, but
I do too. But I liked what I saw against Seattle.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we really got to get a little bit further in training camp to narrow it down a little bit more. But I mean, it beats the hell out of the alternative conversation where young guys aren't stepping up. You're relying on PTOs to make the team. Based on what I've seen so far, like I think Coronado is going to be a power play guy. Might get some sheltered minutes alongside Backlund and Coleman. Zary will get some of that too, but Zary to me has already proven himself in NHL level to a point. You know, apart from his injury last year, he had a great rookie season. He's a little less reliant on maybe some defensive help. But man, we got a shitload of options. A shitload.
And I don't know what you think, but every time I watch Hanzik play, I like him more.
Yeah, and Sam Morton. Sam Morton is
off the charts right now.
Sam Morton is leading the conversation to have a fourth line spot as a surprise at training camp, and I don't think that's debatable at this current juncture.
25 years old, I believe, out of Minnesota Mankato, and this guy is here to play.
It's what a story, what a signing. You know, like Conroy be cooking, man. Like everything he's done since he took this job has been fantastic. Like, you know, again, Sharangovich with 31 goals in that Toffoli trade. The Lindholm trade just does not stop giving, and it's unbelievable.
I got a question later on in the show about that, and another point I want to make is this: when you look at this roster, and albeit it's only 3 games, and we got 5 more to go preseason game.
Yeah.
Has anybody been a ghost so far? I got 2 people that I'm not super impressed with so far.
I find that hard to answer just on the grounds that so many guys have surprised or been really, really good. So who are your ghosts?
Jacob LJ. I'm not seeing it. I hate to say that. But I don't know where he fits. I don't know where he fits right now. I don't know. And
Well, a lot of camp left again,
Mhm.
which works in his favor. But thus far, I'm inclined to agree.
Here's
He has
another.
not let me the doors off.
How do you get rid of Dryden Hunt? Is he not your extra forward?
He's absolutely your extra forward and a regular with the Wranglers. I don't.
Huh. I think I think he's your extra forward. Him and Rooney. Well, Rooney will probably be the fourth line center, but I mean, I don't know how. I mean,
Well, that depends. Again, it could be possible if Coronado's playing top six. Like I don't know, but I do know that Cole Schwint and Dryden Hunt, neither one at this point should be in the starting lineup. And Hunt's been good, but Hunt has a limited skill set. He's a known commodity.
but what I like about him is he makes stuff happen, and he's a great guy to have out of your. I mean, he can sit in the press box and come in the next game and give you a spark if you need. Okay.
That's fine. That doesn't mean he makes the opening night. The opening night lineup to me in hockey is the guys who had the best fucking camp that they could put forth, and they earned that. Maybe it's only 9 games if they're a rookie. Maybe it's only first game in, then they pull one out to let them watch the game and take it in. But that opening night lineup, which I believe is going to against, was it Winnipeg? I believe, like that should be the guys that earned it. The guys that earned it. That's those are the ones that should be in that lineup.
Opening nights against Vancouver, Wednesday the 9th in Vancouver. Home openers the 12th against Philly.
Oh yes, okay. I'm thinking back to last season. Actually, yeah, I am. Yeah. So you the guys that earn the jobs take the jobs. It's that simple. At least to start, and then because even though training camp's over, it doesn't mean everything's determined, right?
No, we get a lot more to see though too. I mean, we're gonna slowly whittle down.
I guess the one position we haven't discussed yet, we got to talk about because this is
we got to talk about it.
This is the fucking best, man. I forgot. I shamefully, stupidly forgot what Devin Cooley had to say when he was with the San Jose Sharks last year, when he made 40-some saves against Seattle, about how it doesn't really matter. We're all going to die. And then he essentially doubled down when they beat the Oilers last night, the split squad game, about, just trying to prove that he doesn't suck that much. This guy is the English Ilya Bryzgalov. His sound bites are hilarious. His attitude is fantastic.
How do you?
That's my boy. Devin Cooley's he's my guy.
I'm very interested to see what happens this year. I really am, because he had a really good outing last night. I believe he stopped.
Okay.
Is it 42 of 45 or something against Draisaitl and McDavid?
Yeah. And again, it's only preseason, but again, it's only preseason. You can only work within the parameters of the situation you're in. We know it's preseason, but he couldn't have shown better.
I thought Vladar looked good last night against Edmonton too in Calgary.
Three have been fantastic.
And Wolf was dynamite against 27. I think he had 27 saves in the first 2 periods.
And Walter Ignatieff has been great too.
Yeah, I know.
And who's the other one? Even Cooley said there's 5 of them. Who's the? I can't even remember.
Murphy.
Oh, Connor. Or no, not Connor.
Yeah, there's Connor Murphy and there's Matt Radomski.
Yes.
Only
Murphy
name I have not heard.
Like, this is just so much fun. And yeah, guys are going to get cut. Guys are going to get injured. Guys are going to slow down. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But it's like, this is like, what more do you want right now as a Flames fan? What more can you possibly ask for within reason?
You know what we're getting? You know what? I guess what excites me the most is, like, what we're getting that we haven't for quite a few years now is we're getting the excitement, because we have young guys trying to push for a spot, or for many years it was like, well, we know who the roster is, we're going. And don't get me wrong, when you have a good team, you don't have a whole bunch of spots. And believe me, I would love to, be a playoff team and have one open spot this year, but that's not the case in Calgary. So we've got to focus on the positives that we've seen, and the individual efforts have been dynamite so far.
Unbelievable. Just a great training camp. And I mean, this show we're doing is going to be a very different show next week and the week after, right?
You think negatively, or do you think it's going to keep?
Oh, it's just like who's gonna make it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who all of a sudden is going to find themselves in the waiver wire, maybe be traded to a team that has an injury or has lacks depth or whatever the case may be, man. Like, I don't know.
Were you at all surprised that Michael Backlund won the fitness testing followed by Lomberg?
No, I thought Lomberg I thought Lomberg would win it if he hadn't had a summer of partying. That's probably why he got edged out by Backlund after winning the Cup in Florida. But no, I wasn't at all surprised by those rankings. Were you surprised?
No.
No.
He's a freaking machine. The guy's, I believe he's one of the more focused NHL players there are. I just believe that. He's so well prepared all the time. And you know what you're getting from him. How many times in his career have we said, geez, Backlund's a ghost. We haven't seen him for 4 games. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's always been around that 35 to 45 point range generally, because he's that consistent, right?
Yeah,
he draws the toughest assignments, and his community work too, and things like the speech he gave about Johnny Gaudreau when he passed. Like, the guy just has his hands in everything in the best ways possible. Like, what more can you say? There's a reason he's the captain, right?
That's right. 2 signings while we were gone since last week. 2 RFAs. Ilya Solovyov signs a 2-year, 2-way deal. 1 way in year 2, which surprised me a tiny bit, $775,000. And then Cole Schwint gets wrapped up, 1 year, 2-way contract, $800,000.
Yep. That concludes the free agency Flames business.
Is there not one more? Oh, he went to Russia. What was his name?
Oh, that's bad. He had no interest in playing North America, so that's fine. Also, interestingly, God, how do they word this? It's the strangest thing. But all these Russian players who NHL teams retain their rights like forever has finally been resolved. So if they're retired players still technically had the rights owned by the Calgary Flames. It was the strangest thing. I mean, a lot of them are officially no longer have rights, like Andrei Medvedev. Ruslan Zainalin of the infamous Mark Savard trade is no longer Flames property after 25 years of misery. So the NHL has finally removed retired Russian players from the Flames reserve list. So this includes Viktor Bobrov, Medvedev, like I mentioned, Igor Shastin. Just to give you a reference point of how ridiculous it is, and I won't spend too much time on it, Shastin was a 2001 4th rounder.
I
was in grade fucking 7.
I wasn't. I was old already.
Andrei Teratukin, I do remember him. Yuri Trubachev, Zainalin, who I will hate till the day I'm dead because of the Savard trade. But all of a sudden, after years of these guys having their rights, they could be dead and their rights would still be owned by the Flames. Anyway, finally, we're moving on from all that nonsense. Medvedev was the big fat goal in the World Juniors in the early 2000s.
Okay.
The roly-poly goalie who was listed at various points at over 250 pounds.
Oh, God.
I have already spent more time on this than I said I would, so I will digress.
There was a Flames player traded today. Did you see that? First round pick Gridden got traded in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League to.
Oh, a couple days ago, yeah.
Was it 2 days ago? Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yes. So I have circled the date on my calendar because on November 10th, I believe, he will be in Moncton against Etienne Morin and the Moncton Wildcats. So I will have to go. The game. Oh, I will be there.
I watched him play in the USHL. He's a good player to watch. He's
wicked.
I'm impressed with him at camp.
With Gridden or Morin?
Gridden.
Yeah. Well, they're both good. Yeah. I mean, but we're just flush with great players right now. It's a weird problem. We're not used to this in Calgary.
We are definitely not used to this.
Not at all.
Before we go back to talking some more training camp stuff, I wanted to pick your brain because I wanted to try to piss you off.
You would be the first one today. Have at her, bud.
I saw the when they announced that Play Alberta is going to be the team.
Oh, fuck.
For jersey ads, and our host Kyle Lewis pipes up and says, "Guess my game worn jersey collecting days are over."
Oh, I have so many qualms about
on the show.
Are you ready for this? You want to
So
go
I
make yourself
put it
a
on my
drink or I
list.
go off? All right.
Fire
All right.
away.
Oh, God almighty. So teams like Edmonton still haven't given into this. So
Nope.
props to them for that. Because one of the first issues I have is I don't see how advertising on jerseys makes a goddamn bit of difference to a company's bottom line. What I do see, apart from ruining a beautiful canvas like the Flames jersey, which, never mind the fact I'm a Flames fan, most fans will argue in hockey, even in pro sports, that the Flames have a beautiful, beautiful jersey. Okay. I am so sick of gambling being shoved down everyone's throats. I don't need to watch professional wrestling and see DraftKings in the corner of the ring. I don't need to tune into a hockey game and see Play Alberta plus whatever the fuck is on their helmets now. If I want to gamble, I'm going to gamble, but I don't need it on every national broadcast, on every jersey, on every game day pamphlet. I don't need it. If you want to gamble, go ahead and gamble, but stop forcing this on kids. Stop forcing it down their throats. We don't need that on the jersey. What does it do for Play Alberta? Does anybody watch a hockey game? And I know everybody thinks advertising is subliminal, which, yes, some of it is, but they look at this and they think, oh, all of a sudden I want to gamble after watching a hockey game. It just ruins the look of the fucking jersey. It adds nothing.
I agree. The only thing, okay, now I'm not going to defend this because I am old school as old school gets. So I hate jersey ads. I will say that thank goodness it is at least white and no other colors and is fairly small. Now,
yeah, it's not as offensive as the RBC emblem on the Habs jersey. That is a
yep.
legendary franchise soiled, which is a word that I hate, soiled by a stupid logo that's the wrong goddamn color.
That's the problem there. At least the Flames didn't do that. Now, I'm not happy about this because I don't like jersey ads, and I never will. But at least they did it.
Looks like the Spengler Cup.
And I know it's a lot of money for them. I do. And as far as the gambling part of it, I really don't care. I mean, I like to throw my money down once in a while and play.
Sure.
I do that every time I date. On there, does having this on the jersey make me want to gamble? No. But it's just, but I don't think the Flames care about that. The dude's writing the check, right? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't like it. I knew it would get you mad, and I wanted to talk about it because I love watching you get riled.
Well, and it's funny because inevitably when we text, when we call each other, when we talk for 5 minutes before we do a show or 10 minutes after a show, there's always shit that comes up. But I've realized after getting to know you for a few years now that there are certain things you will not discuss with me because you know me well enough to know that I haven't thought about them overtly. And you're going to bring them up on the show to piss me off to get the most honest reaction you can possibly get. And it works every goddamn time. Because I'm mad right now.
I got another surprise for you in a little bit. Part two.
And I pretend like I don't love it. So go ahead.
Part two to this is, have you seen the prices on these new Fanatics game morning jerseys? $499.99 for a game, or not even game used, for just a right off the shelf hanger game jersey. And if it's going to be lettered in $624.99, are you
replica? I'm screaming Mike now. Like this
unreal.
Okay, I liken this to a kid being able to play hockey. Every kid should have the opportunity to do so, either by their parents' volition or via community funding or programming or whatever allows a kid to have that experience. The same thing goes for buying a jersey. Every family should be able to provide their child with a jersey to support the team that they love. These prices are insane.
Canadian dollars, 140 for a practice, 160 for a blank breakaway jersey, 200 if you want it lettered.
Oh man.
Premium jersey is 200 Canadian, 250. I don't know, they got all these levels now too. 250 for name and number on it, and 500 for authentic pro, and 625 if you want it lettered. Ikes.
It just makes the game itself at its core, whether it's playing, whether it's buying a jersey, it makes it more and more inaccessible, and that just really drives me insane.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it on the show. Ticket prices. This game is not accessible for kids anymore. Jerseys, tickets, families can't afford to take tickets. They just can't.
Nope, they can't.
That's why, you know what? That's why when you tune into these preseason games, you see families there. It's the only ones they can afford to go to.
Yep.
Sad. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, it really, really is. It really, really, truly is. So let's contrast that with some really positive news. And this
Are you going to say Pasty's jersey is back? I know that you're all over that.
Well, I was going to spare you, but after you insist on getting me riled up, maybe I'll talk about it. I just wanted to point out John Tortorella.
Oh yeah, yep.
For a guy that portrays so well like a villain, like such an asshole, and I work with a guy like that. He drives me insane, but I know he has a heart of gold, and he for Tortorella to not just bring Guy Gaudreau into Flyers practice, but the way he spoke about it, in terms of the guy's a hockey coach, I thought it'd be therapeutic for him. Like that type of initiative, him just calling Guy and get him out of the house, however you want to word it, like that says so much more about John Tortorella's credibility as a human being than anything he's ever done in terms of lashing out at the media or throwing a player under the bus. Like, and I know John's been outspoken before because he has a son in the Marine Corps, for example. What a fucking wonderful thing to do, and God bless him for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I have a lot of respect for him, and I know a lot of people bash him and whatnot. And it's just his coaching style. It's similar to Daryl Sutter. If you talk to him off of the ice, he's the nicest guy in the entire world. And I'm not saying he's not nice on the ice. I'm just saying they have to have a different style, right? Yep. My very first NHL award show I went to, I believe it 2012. The first person that they brought out in a scrum that I was in was John Tortorella, and it scared the living crap out of me. And I learned that day, like listening to him talk and visit. He's a great guy. He's a really, 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 really good guy. He loves his dog. He's a big pet fan. He loves his dog.
And certain guys, the biggest one in my mind is former St. John Flame, Martin St. Louis. I don't think that guy becomes a superstar with a coach like John Tortorella.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right. And another guy too, like, we talk about Sutter all the time. And unfortunately, when he left, it was not the greatest. And I hope that changes. And I hope the perception in Calgary continues to go back to really what Daryl Sutter was for this organization. Mm-hmm. But, great guys, great guys. And I think if you talk to a lot of players in the league, they'll name coaches, and I bet you Tortorella is and Sutter are towards the tops of the lists of players that are it influenced their career the most.
Well, and certain guys connect with certain people, certain circumstances, certain time and place kind of thing. Like look at Johnny Gaudreau, like that season he had under Daryl Sutter, and Sutter. At the recent Toronto Blue Jays game was talking about, John's passing and what John was as a hockey player and as a person. And you always kind of knew when you heard from people close to both those guys, how do I say that? Like just how good of an understanding they had of each other in terms of their roles. Like I don't think, and God willing, John had still been with us. I don't know that he would have ever had a better season than he had under Daryl Sutter because Daryl knew how to get the most out of him. Same as Tortorella does certain players. And it rubs some players the wrong way, and for good reason in some cases. But some guys just rise to that occasion, and Sutter and Tortorella is another one that they just get the absolute most out of you.
They push the right buttons that motivate you
at the right times, and they know how to communicate with guys like that. And it says a lot about them as coaches. But I just thought that was just the classiest thing under a horrific set of circumstances, and it was just phenomenal of Tortorella to do that. It was really, really cool.
Stajan back with the Flames. Your thoughts on that? As he's kind of always been a key cog in Calgary, right? And Stajan's back as a skills consultant. He's been working with the Hitmen for the last 2 years, I believe.
Yeah. Doesn't it amaze you? Like remember how maligned he was when he was acquired in the FNUF trade, and he had 3 goals and 15 assists down the stretch, and that was it 09-10 season.
He's done so much for Calgary. I mean,
oh man, I mean, people, really gravitated towards him from his, when he lost the son, when he scored that winning goal against Vancouver.
I won't forget that one.
None of us will forget that, man. I mean, and it's just such a well-liked guy, but a real consummate pro, which I think is the biggest reason they hired him. Good in faceoffs, good in penalty kill, real strong character. And I think the hardest thing for a lot of guys these days is to be a good pro, right?
Yeah.
You followed this team, longer than I have. I mean, how do you feel about this influx of these past players now? So Conroy, Iginla, Michael Stone, Matt Stage, and what? How does that look from your perspective? Like bringing all these guys back in.
I like it, but I think you got to be careful, right? How they're working Iginla in, I really like that. They didn't just throw him in right away, give him a high end position. Like, right?
Yeah.
I think you got to be careful with that, right? We all love our heroes, right? We love all the we love focusing on the good times in the past, right? As long as those guys are in the right position, I'm totally fine with it, right? They've got to earn the position though. You just can't, be a 50 goal scorer 3 years in a row and be a hero in the community and get a job. We got to worry about winning. But if that person is the right fit to help make us a better hockey team, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the roles these guys have all fulfilled so far, that's been the case, right? So it's cool. It's a nice newer direction for the team, right?
Yeah. Did you know that the Blasty jersey, I mentioned it shortly, a little while ago, it's back for 15 home games this year? Kyle, what the hell's going on? 15 games?
People love it, man. You don't, but other people do.
I know.
Well, I mean, all right. Try to look at it this way, I guess. This is what, I view it. Like, you get your two most probably iconic jerseys in team history in terms of the current reds and whites.
Mm-hmm.
And you throw in that little dash of the newer age Blasty. Because I know a lot of people now, and it comes and goes in cycles like anything. It's just like any other fashion, right? People are clamoring for the 04 red jerseys, the Black Sea, the horse head on the shoulder, with the triangular design. Like,
never really liked that jersey.
But if you didn't like it,
memories though.
Yeah, the piping on those jerseys is way better than what followed with the RBK/Reebok and into the Adidas. Like, but
you don't want to go back to the pedestal ones though.
So, did you see that earlier this week? Somebody they tweeted a picture of Todd Simpson.
Did you see my response?
I didn't see yours. I saw a lot of negative responses.
I just said no.
Keep it simple, right?
No.
I don't know that you can run the gamut of Flames jersey history better than what they currently have, but the 04 Black Sea Reds represent the pinnacle of Flames hockey for the last 30 years pretty well, So I think they're going to try to work that in at some point. And somebody also threw in, they were shitting on the reverse retro 2.0 pedestal from 2 seasons ago. They played 4 games.
It was all right.
And I get it. It wasn't a great jersey. It was a neat concept, but
it's better than the one that said Calgary on the front. I wasn't a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I had a game worn TJ Brody of that style, and I sold it. And then I saw one of the Johnny Gaudreau highlights recently where they were in those jerseys. I'm like, fuck, even those are growing on me, because inevitably it becomes tied to nostalgia.
Mm-hmm. The only jersey that'll never grow on me in Calgary, never, ever, ever. Because I actually don't hate the pedestal. I have some good memories from that jersey, but I will never like the McDonald's jersey, the freaking Heritage Classic.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that. I like the throwback to the Calgary Tigers concept, but I didn't care for that jersey. And actually, the Heritage Classics from last season were way better. The beige with the woolly numbers, it looked cool. But
yeah, I actually like those jerseys. I like that jersey a lot.
But I think we can agree, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the current jerseys best represent the Flames past, present, and future.
Yeah.
You get a bit of everything. And even if you don't love Blasty, and a buddy of mine in Calgary, Rob, he diehard Flames fan, has season tickets. He's not a Blasty guy. And I know you're not either, and I'm totally cool with that. You don't need to be.
No.
But, there's a little bit of everything in their current lineup of jerseys. So
I agree. Before we go, I got a little surprise for you. We're going to do a little true false.
Okay.
All right. I've got 5 NHL ones, and I've got 5 Flames questions. You got to answer. You can expand on it, but it's got to be true false.
Okay.
Okay. You want the NHL ones first or the Flames ones first?
Dealer's choice.
Okay, NHL it is. 2 new teams will play for the Stanley Cup this season.
False.
So you think it's going to be the exact two, Edmonton and Florida game?
No, I'm sorry. I heard that wrong. It's been a long day. No, it's not going to be. Yeah, absolutely true. They will. I was thinking like 2 teams that haven't been in the Cup final, like in.
Okay. I see. That was I could see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2.
No, it'll be different teams. Yeah.
Canada will win the 4 Nations Cup.
False. Goaltending could be an issue.
Okay. Sabres will finish ahead of the Senators.
Oh, I'm gonna go with my guy Elliot Friedman here, so I'm gonna assume false because I think the Sens will make the playoffs.
I kind of do too.
Yeah, I hope so, man. They need a playoff berth. They really do.
Quinn Hughes will have more points than Cale Makar.
Ooh. There's a reason you saved that for last. That's a tough one.
No, I have one more before that. After this.
I'm gonna say true.
Okay.
Yep.
The 2 Ontario teams will have more points than the 2 Alberta teams.
That's really tough. Actually, we need to mark this down, revisit at the end of the season because it's going to be close. I actually think the Alberta teams will have more points because I think the Oilers are still very good, though not as good as last year necessarily, and the Flames will improve. Toronto, I think, will not be quite as good, and Ottawa's going to be better. So you've got a bit of scaling on both sides. They're going to be the totals will be within 10 points of each other.
Oh yes, I agree. Okay, here's the Flames 5, and then we'll let everybody go on with their day. Dustin Wolf will win more games than Dan Vladar.
That's a tough one. I think Vladar is going to be sneaky good, but I will say true because I think Wolf's ready.
Tyson Barrie will sign a NHL contract with the Calgary Flames.
I think false. I think he's odd man out.
Okay. Jacob Pelletier will be on the Flames opening night roster.
On the roster or in the lineup? Just on the roster?
God, can you get me on a technicality? I said roster. Yep.
Yeah, true. I think he'll make the team. Yeah.
Okay. Flames will finish in the bottom 10 teams and will retain their lottery draft pick.
False. I think they're going to finish as high as.
We'll talk about that next week. Save that.
Yeah. We'll know more next week, but they're going to do better than people think. And we're starting to see that narrative creeping in. So, yeah.
Zane Parekh will play more NHL games this season than Hunter Brzeskevich.
False. Not nearly as defensively poised yet as Brzeskevich. Brzeskevich is a comer and he's ready to play.
Bonus question. Does he get NHL games this year? Does Hunter see the NHL this year?
Absolutely. Don't know how he couldn't.
So
I think the guy is ready to go. Yeah?
I think so too.
Now, okay, so does Zane Parekh see an AHL time this year?
I think he does. I think he's going to, and I don't think we're going to burn a year. I think he'll definitely get 9 or less, but I do. I think he's going to get a shot. I think they're going to slide him in the beginning. I do.
Okay, I'm doing this on the fly, but I got to return the favor because I still feel like you interview me half the time, and I got shit that I got to ask you too.
Okay.
All right, so who's your favorite for the 4th line center spot? And are these 2 players Sam Morton or Cole Schwinn?
Sam Morton.
All right, I like the conviction in that response. Does Devin Cooley make the opening night roster?
Oh, I think we're gonna have a 3-headed horse to start, or what a monster.
Yeah, Ramo or T.O. Hiller again. Yeah, I get you.
I don't know how. Okay, and here's my reasoning behind that. Now we're gonna learn a lot more in the rest of the preseason, but here's my response to that. The only guy that's waiver free is Wolf, but I think he's gonna force the hand that you can't send this guy down because he's done everything. I think Dan Vladar is going to be good, and I don't think you can dare put Cooley on waivers. I think you're going to have 3 of them. I think you are.
Yeah, Cooley's a late bloomer, and that isn't to say he's going to be an NHL starter or even a 1B or any of that stuff. I'm not suggesting anything about what his ceiling is, but I do think he's an NHL goaltender. I really do.
I do too.
And like it was his sound bites are just so brilliant. But like, him throwing himself at that puck on the save he made last night, like that's what the best goaltenders and arguably the best one in history, Dominic Hasek, and I can make the argument against anybody you want, they throw themselves at the puck because they never stop battling.
That's right.
You can be the most positionally sound butterfly goaltender in the world. The guy that battles harder, a la Mike Vernon, for another example.
Yep.
Those are the guys that win you cups. And Cooley, if that's the impression I get, is the guy just battles his ass off.
He wants to prove that he belongs, right?
He wants to prove that he doesn't as much as everybody thinks he does.
And along the way, he's making a lot of friends because he's funny.
Oh, man. But again, character.
Yeah.
It's like any workplace. If you haven't got guys that, that can tell a joke, that can, tell you something stupid, make you laugh, try to lift you up when you're going through a shitty breakup or a bad day or you screwed up or whatever, you goddamn well need that. It's the same in pro sports. You need those characters, man.
Yeah, you do. You do. And I don't know how you have a bad locker room when he's in it. I mean,
the guy slaying me, man. Hilarious.
What do we got ahead next week? So we got Flames Wednesday night. Calgary goes to Vancouver. Saturday, Vancouver comes to Calgary. Monday, Seattle comes to Calgary. And Wednesday, Calgary heads on over to Winnipeg. We are back again next week. Preseason continues next week. We got a lot to talk about.
Well, we're gonna have
predictions.
We're gonna have 2 rounds of cuts by then, I'm sure.
2 rounds of cuts. We'll have a lot of preseason talk. We'll have predictions. We'll have expectations of players for the regular season. We got lots to talk about. Yeah,
it's gonna be jam-packed. Well, I mean, we're kind of in it to win it now. And I mean, even once training camp concludes, those first 2 weeks of the season in terms of who's in and out of the lineup, and even your question with Tyson Barrie, like that's a 50-50 one. I erred towards, there's lots of defensive depth. I don't see him making it. But if they say, hey, look, man, league minimum deal, we'd love to have you around the team for a year. You're not going to play every night.
Safe pick, right?
Yeah, like this is fascinating. It's really, really, it's going to be a fun year to be a Flames fan. The results might not always be what we want, but there'll be some surprises too.
All right, Flames fans, make sure you get on over to X. Follow us on X. Come on, push us. We want to get to 1,000. Push us. Get us up there. We appreciate everybody listening to the show. Kyle and I love doing this every single week, and you know what? It was a lot more exciting this week coming on, having some games to talk about. And 6-1, 6-3, 6-1 wins.
Yeah. Again, it's only preseason, but it's fun. We got stuff to watch every night, whether it's our team or other teams. I mean, a lot of arguably the best camp battles at every position we've seen in a long time ago. So just enjoy the
long time. I agree. All right, Flames fans, have a good week. We'll be back again next week on Flames Unfiltered, talking Flames hockey. Have a good week.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames hockey talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.